Yeah.
Rob, you had Saracens' number last season, didn't you? Do you believe that by the time you get to Twickenham this time around, you have what it takes to beat them? Because they have beaten pretty much everyone this season, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I think quite rightly that they're being regarded as the best team in Europe, and I haven't got any complaints with that. I think they're a better team than when we played them last year, but then so are we. And I think the biggest compliment I can play the Saracens, and it is a big compliment, is their basics that just look so rock solid at the moment. Their set piece, their defensive systems, how comfortable they look with ball in hand, because they do look at a comfortable attacking team as well. And then on top of that, no one can deny they've got a great team spirit and a great work ethic. And they're very well coached, and they get massive parts of their game plan right. That said, as you say, if you look at the last 4 games we've played against them, it's 2-2. Could have been 3-2. It was a real close game here. That says to me that we've got it in us to get there where we need to be. And you do look at some of the scores that they score, and how softly some teams seem to concede against them. And I think that certainly gives us some hope. But at the same time, I am aware that some of those soft points come from massive amounts of pressure that they build over the period of the 80 minutes. So, I think we're pretty comfortable with what we need to do. I don't think we're going to be a team that just goes there and enjoys walking around in the sun at Twickenham before the game. I don't think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to turn up, and I think if we turn up, we can make it a very interesting game.
Rob, why do you think it is that some teams, as you say, have gone a bit soft on them sometimes in certain situations? Is that a reputation thing, or?
I don't think anybody goes intentionally soft on them. I think there's different ways to try and play against them, and I think if you look at, say, the Wasps' performance against them, and I know it was a team shorn of their England internationals, but I think Wasps went after them absolutely flat out in every department and got some joy out of it. And I think you have to make those balanced decisions, don't you? Do you go after them flat out and try and impose your game on them and try and take away their big weapon, which is the pressure they build on you, or do you try and respond to that by putting pressure on them? And while you're doing that, you've got to get an awful lot right, because when you make mistakes, they snap onto them and they get positive results out of them. I think, like I said, I think we know where we want to be. I think we're pretty well focused this week. I think we know we're going to have to go and commit ourselves fantastically to the physical battle, and if we do that, we give ourselves a chance. For me, it's a pretty basic start point. We've got to be prepared to hit the pitch, prepared to work extremely hard and commit to the physical battle first, and that gives us a foothold. And once we get a foothold, we can build from there. We're not looking too far ahead.
Are you planning for Owen Farrell at 10 or Charlie Hodgson without being maybe fully aware of the situation? And does that make a very big difference to how you think they will play?
Not really. We haven't over focused on either. To be fair, we're probably assuming they'll both have some part in the game. But what I think we've managed to do this week is we've refocused on the things that we feel that we do that will help us impose ourselves in some way on the game. And like I say, we've done that a little bit by not focusing on Saracens, and that's not because we don't think there are threats there, but I think the big way that you control a lot of good teams' threats is by getting what you do right. And when we've been successful against Saracens in the past, that's what's worked well for us. Our set pieces functioned, so we've maintained possession when we've needed to. Our kick chase game has functioned, so we've maintained territory when we've needed to. We've focused a lot on the things we need to make happen in the game, and I think that's the only way for us to approach a 1 week turnaround into a very big game.
I guess the danger is if Owen does play any penalties in your half, I mean, he's kicking everything.
I think whether Owen plays or whether Charlie plays, they're both good goal kickers. They can build pressure on you both on the scoreboard and territory-wise. So, we're aware we have to be disciplined, and we're going to have to stay very focused in a very high-intensity game. But that's what a Premiership Final should be.
And what his comment on Thomas Waldron then is that injury is obviously unfortunate for him and the team. How big a blow is it for him? And therefore, again, the same sort of question.
I think it's very disappointing for Thomas. He's had a fantastic season. I very much feel for him missing out on the final, because he has been part of a driving force for us now over a couple of seasons, and I suppose a big part of what we wanted to be as a club. Is his own character, and he brings his own sense of humour to things, and founder member of the Cookie Club and all those kind of really important things. But no, I mean, I feel very disappointed for him. But you know, I think after an initial bit of disappointment, I think Tom's been very good at trying to get his head around things. He's been very positive around the place this week, and he's, you know, he'll play his part up there this weekend in helping the guys get ready for the game.
How pleased are you with Ali and his appointment?
You know, delighted and fully deserved. You know, he's been someone who's worked extremely hard here for 7 years now, isn't it? I think from that first year in the Championship, and he's definitely been one of the big reasons for our continued progress. He works extremely. Not only does he work extremely hard, but he works extremely smart, and I think you know, that makes him a tremendous asset to the club. And I'm delighted that England actually decided to install him there as the head coach. In a lot of ways, he fills a lot of those roles here for us. And I think, you know, I think it's exactly the recognition he deserves, and I think it'll be a great experience for him, and I think he'll do a fantastic job.
Do you think you'll get the neutral support on Saturday?
Well, everyone seems to be saying that, you know, and I'm not going to try and shake people out of that. You know? If people want to hate Saracens and love us, I'll take that every day of the week. You know, and you know, and if in some way we can put the performance in on the pitch that makes those neutral supporters think about veering our way even more, you know, and we can start thinking about the future of this place, and you know, maybe starting to fill it as a 15,000 seater stadium or 20,000 seater stadium. Fantastic. And because ultimately Saturday is not the end of our journey as a rugby club. You know, we're a new Premiership rugby club. We've got a relatively young team. We've got a relatively young coaching and management structure. You know, this is just a step along the way for us. We want to be in a lot more of these big games. We want to be a better team in Europe than we are. This isn't the end of the line for us. This is a step along the journey, and that's how I want the lads to approach it. It's not everything. It's not just about this is the one day that we're going to be, like I say, walking around Twickenham and relishing it. We're going to get ourselves ready for a very big game of rugby, and then we'll be ourselves afterwards, and we'll drink some cider, and we'll do what we do, and we'll start getting ready for next season. But we'll get ready for this game first.
Are you confident the young players in particular can handle 80,000 and everything that goes with that stage? Yeah? Well,
that's the big question, whether we as a team can, because I think that's why you get there, isn't it? That's why you get to these finals. That's why it's important to do it, and then see if you can handle it. And if you can, great, and you still learn from it. And if you can't, great, and you learn from it even more. But guys like Henry Slade and Jack Noel, when you talk about them being our young players, and Luke Cowan-Dickey, they've been in front of 80,000 people before now. You know, they're international experienced players. So there's no reason why they can't. Guys like Jeff Parling have been there and done it. Julian Salve's been in finals. When you actually start to go through the team, there's actually quite a lot of guys who've been into these environments before. But what they have to do is bring it together as a side, and that will be our big challenge.
Did you think this was possible 5-6 years ago to be here, this kind of rise?
Yes, I mean, I think the big thing we've always done is we've always believed, and I think that's probably one of our big foundation elements. And I can't get tired of telling people when they ask me this question that people never seem to look back beyond us being that last year in the Championship, beating Bristol and getting in the Premiership. You know, I played in two losing cup finals at Twickenham for Exeter, albeit in a second tier competition. I coached in two. You know, I can remember being a player and finishing and getting relegated. I can remember being a player here and finishing second and third and missing promotion. You know, I remember being a player here and getting promotion as well, and being a coach and getting promotion. But the one thing we haven't done over an extended period is we've never gone away. You know, when we lost a cup final, we didn't disappear. We got back there again. When we finished second in the league, we didn't disappear. We went back up there again. You know, if we'd have lost to Bristol, we'd have got back on the horse the next pre-season. We'd have got on and done it again. And I think that's the foundation element we've got at the club that probably backs up every other thing that we've done since.
What have you done, or can you do for the next few days, Robin, in terms of making sure that performance is delivered, and you say those people do deliver on the day and they're not wandering around Twickenham feeling starry-eyed?
Well, we talked a bit about it. We talked about it after the game. You know, my initial reaction after the game at the weekend against Wasps in the semi-final was just say to the lads, look, just don't start talking about Twickenham and getting too carried away right now. You know, obviously don't go mad. We've got a big game next week, but have a couple of beers, sit down, have a chat together. You know, decompress a little bit. Don't get over focused on next week. We'll do a proper review and a proper recovery on Monday, and we'll go through our same process, and just to let them get down and calm again. Because I'm kind of a big believer. You can't just stay hyped up and at a massively intense level for days on end. I just don't think you can do it. and we got ourselves to a fantastic level to play Wasps in the semi-final. We've got to come down from that now, and we've got to slowly work ourselves back up there by the time the whistle goes on Saturday. And as a part of that is being able to sit in that changing room before the game as a team and look at each other and get ready for a big performance. And that doesn't mean you walk around Twickenham in your flip-flops thinking it's fantastic just to be there. That's as far as I'm concerned. We'll take all the enjoyment that's there in the game afterwards, once we're satisfied with our performance.
Do you think Twickenham will have enough cider there if you do win for your team and your fans?
I imagine they've got the supplies pretty well measured out there. I think that part of it for our supporters and as a rugby occasion will be fantastic. But I think the important thing for us is to make sure that if we want to be part of a fantastic occasion, it's because we do ourselves justice. If we lose, we lose. That's winning and losing. We'll take that kind of stuff on the chin. But the only thing that will really frustrate me is if we don't show the best of our qualities and we don't get there and we don't turn up and we don't put up a fight and show what we're about as a team.